Aloha and welcome to part 12 of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, folks. We are at endgame. We're at the final level of the game, Death Egg Act 2. And this one is pretty goddamn annoying because it constantly switches the playing field for you. And what I mean by that is, every now and then you're going to find yourself being upside down. And when you're upside down, you got to think of it in terms of being upside down. When you jump, you're going down. So, like, if you want to get down on the screen, you have to jump, and that's weird to think of, and you might get a little bit dizzy thinking about it, but you're going to have to adapt, I guess. Also, I think Eggman must have some kind of breathing shield in the Death Egg, because we're clearly exposed in outer space, and Sonic seems to be doing okay, so I don't know. But I digress. This level is a very big pain in the ass. In fact, there's one part where you're going on an elevator that's going down, but it's actually going up because you're upside down, and that one is really hard to navigate. Here it is right now. I remember dying to this quite a lot when I was a kid. There's spikes on the walls, there's a thing shooting at you, and if you lose rings, guess what? The rings go down, and you can't go down because anti-gravity is working against you. So if you get hit once, you lost all your rings. You've got one more hit to go and you're dead. And more often than not, I would get hit. So that's the elevator of death. That always killed me when I was a kid. And it always, always, always made me dread this level. Getting the lightning shield for this section is very, very useful. Double jump is your best friend. I mean, as opposed to your actual best friend. Whoever the hell that guy or girl is, I don't care. Oh, good to see Eggman installed an upside-down laser tunnel. But yeah, folks, we're going to the final. We're in the final level of the game. This is it for the Sonic playthrough. Knuckles. I think I mentioned this in part 1 already, but Knuckles will not be coming to Death Egg during his playthrough, so get used to Death Egg Zone now, because this is going to be the last time we see it. The last time we see the Death Egg, period. Unless Sonic the Hedgehog 4 decides to bring the Death Egg back, which would be a nice tradition of the 2D games, I guess. Even though Sonic 1 didn't have it, but 2, 3, and Knuckles did, so it'd be cool if Sonic 4 brought back the Death Egg. You never know. Actually, I should digress. The Death Egg is not just in Sonic 2, 3, and Knuckles. It's also in Sonic Drift 2. I think it's in something else I can't remember at the moment. There's a Death Egg in Sonic the Fighters, but that's not Death Egg. That's Death Egg 2. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Me and Beiji actually recorded footage for that. But anyway, folks, it's Dr. Eggman. And this boss cannot be damaged by Sonic, even if you're hypersonic. How do you kill him, one may ask? Well, basically, he's dropping these little spike robots, and every time you go into an elevator, you reverse gravity. So, you keep entering and exiting the elevators, and you'll keep sending the robots all over the place. And if the spikes are in the ground, like from where they're facing, then you can spin dash into them to make them propel upwards, and they can actually land on the enemy. And it's a good tip, I suppose. It might speed up the battle a little. The one thing you need to worry about, though, is like every time you hit this robot, the machine that falls into him, well, not just when it falls into him, but after a while as well, it will like explode into 3 spikes that fly all over the place, and you gotta watch out and make sure you don't get hit by that. Because of course the spikes will take away your rings and whatnot, and that's no good. The shield is always facing where Sonic is, and you know, you'll always be in the opposite of where the things are falling, so you don't need to worry about that. It's a fairly easy boss fight, though. I don't think it's that bad. It just takes a while. And booyah! Folks, watch how Tails dicks me in the final boss fight. seriously, fuck you, Tails. I had to fight this guy like 4 times because Tails kept taking the hit and I kept falling every time. That's why I hate having Tails with me. He makes the final boss goddamn impossible. I hate fighting him with Tails. I always play as just standalone Sonic or just standalone Tails or whatever. Fuck Sonic and Tails together. But I digress. Unless you had rings during the previous boss fight, you enter this area with no rings because there's no rings to be found. And so that means you get hit once and you're done, just like every other final boss in the series. With the claws that he uses to smash and crush you with, all you have to do is spin dash and you'll be fine. It's just like the Lava Reef mini-boss in Act 1. Just spin dash and you'll be fine, there's nothing you can do about it. And the spin dash won't wear off for a while if you just hold the down button, so go nuts. If you have Tails, I'd recommend taking a jump before or after he does. Because if he hits that emerald before you do, and you try to hit the emerald, you'll pass through and fall to your death. But anywho, you have to hit the red top, then the emerald is exposed, then it tries to shoot a laser at you. Keep an eye out for when the charging stops, jump over it, then he'll shoot a flamethrower, and he does this repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. You hit the Master Emerald a few times though, and you'll take it down no problem. But the fight is not quite over yet, folks. Eggman still has the Master Emerald, and you have to take him out like you would any normal boss, while running as the floor is collapsing. And believe me, if you jump at Eggman the wrong way, you can actually propel yourself to the left and fall to your death. I've had it happen many a times. So make sure you know you're going to land where you need to land. And hopefully Tails doesn't dick you. And this would be the end of the game! But I have the Super Emeralds. Actually, you can have the Chaos Emeralds or the Super Emeralds, but and nothing changes depending on which emeralds you have. It's the same boss fight for either Super or Hypersonic, but with Hypersonic you're obviously multicolored and whatnot. Anywho, folks, this is the Doomsday Zone, the real true final boss of the game, the one you would not face if you didn't get the Chaos Emeralds. And believe me, you want to gather your rings for this part, because when you run out of rings, you die. There's nothing that can kill you in this level except a lack of rings. So collect every ring that you can, because this boss fight will go on for a while. And if you run out of rings, well, you lose. Simple as that. The good thing is Doomsday counts as its own little level, not just like Death Egg does. So if you die, you can restart Doomsday whenever the hell you want, which is awesome. So once you've reached this point, you've pretty much reached all the levels you'll need to reach. But we have to beat this thing. Eggman's taking off in a ship, and the only way to damage him is with his own missiles. Basically, the missiles home in on you and follow you. So you want to make the missiles maneuver into his head, you know? You want to be in a position where the missiles should be following you, but it's also going to hit his head if it does, you know? So just fly around considering that, and watch out for the pellets he's shooting at you, because they send Hypersonic flying all over the place. Which is, no good. But after a few hits, he should go down. You can always boost along real quickly across the stage by tapping the jump button. It gives you a nice dash of speed. And during that whole battleship part, no rings show up. That's why you have to gather rings as much as you can during the first part. As for the second part, keep hitting Eggman as he's flying away, keep dashing into him, and you've won this battle. It's really not that bad. Make sure you have rings, though. But folks, that is the final boss of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I'll be seeing you in the ending in Part 13.